I'm Kayla Roman. I will be highlighting top professionals providing senior financial services. Today we're meeting with Christian Miller. Hi, Christian. How are you?
I am well. How about you?
I'm good. Do you want to just start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, maybe your hobbies or family, what you like to do in your free time?
Sure. I live in Strasburg, Pennsylvania. I originally, out of college, went into hospitality and managed several restaurants, started a family, and unfortunately went through a divorce and needed to find a different job because the restaurant industry was a little too demanding with the hours to be able to see my children. And I kind of stumbled on insurance back in 2007. And I have not looked back since. I love being with people from all walks of life. I love sitting at the kitchen table and talking about the grandkids and this and that. I live in a very old farmhouse in Strasbourg, and one of my favorite things to do when I'm not working is to work on my vegetable garden, which I was doing for about 2 hours this morning. But so that's a little bit about me. I love sports. I've kind of migrated towards high school sports more than professional because at least now high school sports aren't getting paid and they are doing it for the love of the game more so than professionals are. So that's a little bit about me.
Yeah, thanks for sharing. I grew up on a farm myself, so it's like super near and dear to my heart. And I actually just moved. When I moved back to Mannheim, I moved, 5 minutes away from my family farm, so my daughter can grow up being on the farm with my mom and like picking strawberries and cherries and doing all those things with her in the garden. And I also have a hospitality background. I was a restaurant manager for years, so I know the industry very well. What led you to working with seniors on their specialized insurance needs?
So when I started insurance, I was doing just life insurance and investments, and it seemed to be a little bit more high pressured. I had to wear a suit and tie and digging into people's finances, and it was a tough go there in the beginning. And I actually stumbled upon a person who was in the senior industry, and it was a blessing because that was the perfect fit for me. With the Medicare industry specifically, we're not really talking about the individual's finances. We're just getting to know them, find out what their health insurance needs are, and it's developing a long-term relationship. Whereas with the life insurance, it was like I would go in, talk to them, find out what they needed, and then I never saw them again.
Yeah.
And with this Medicare stuff, I've had these people have been with me for 13 years. I have them in my cell phone as contacts. I know when they love it when they call me and I know who it is, and they're like, oh, that's right, you save our name in your phone. Sending them birthday cards and Christmas cards. I mean, they love that, and that has become a great fit for me. Not that I still don't dabble in life insurance and investments and stuff, but the Medicare is just that's my bread and butter.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you see as some of the biggest challenges for your clients facing regarding their financial situation?
100%, it's the cost of prescription drugs. I mean, it's not even debatable. A lot of my folks they are healthy and they don't take expensive prescriptions, but I have a lot of folks, and I know in talking to them with other family members, some of these prescriptions are just out of control.
Yeah.
And we're changing every year. They change some of the income limits on how they can get extra help, and I tell them, especially the first time that I meet people that are going on Medicare, your prescription drug cost is your focus. It's not what's my copay if I end up in the hospital, what's my copay for an MRI. I mean, those are things that happen every once in a while. The prescriptions are things you take every single day, and that's where your focus needs to be on finding the correct plans, to make sure that your costs are as low as possible. And I tell them, I said, buy yourself a notebook. You got to keep track of your prescriptions every year. Find out which pharmacies are the best pricing for it. I said, it's a game. You got to play a game with us. And they like that. And a lot of them take to heart what I'm saying, and they keep their notebook. And when we meet every year to go over the changes on Medicare, and they bring out their little notebook, and we go over it, and I'm like, oh, look, see, that worked out for you. And they get a smile on their face, and it's good stuff.
Awesome. What are some of the goals that you're able to help them attain?
One of the biggest things that I tell people, especially when I first meet them when they go on Medicare, is that you're dealing with a lot of moving parts. You got the insurance companies, the doctors, the hospitals, and with these big entities, sometimes things slip through the cracks, and there's a lot of follow-up that needs to be done, specifically when they're trying to get procedures authorized by the insurance company. And I tell them, the first time around, a lot of times the insurance companies will deny it, and you have to keep pushing forward. And that's one of the big things that I tell people, like, I'm here to help you. Don't think like when you call an insurance company, you got to press 1 for this and 2 for that. It frustrates people, and they're on hold. And they know with me, they're calling my cell phone. If I don't answer, they leave a message, I'm calling them back. There's nobody else to go to. It's just me.
Yeah.
And they love that. They love that.
Yeah. I think just having that personal connection really makes a difference. Without divulging any specific details, can you tell me about a time where you helped a client achieve one of these goals, or like overcome one of the challenges that you're seeing in the senior market?
So the most recent situation where I helped a client out, it wasn't actually a senior client. It was a younger couple who have their insurance through Penny, which is the exchange here in Pennsylvania to help people get lower cost insurance. And they were blessed with a third child back in March. And when we went to put the child on the insurance, everything went haywire. Between Penny trying to put the child on CHIP or medical assistance, and then the other 2 kids that were already on the plan, they tried to put them on CHIP, and it was a big to-do. And it wasn't until earlier this week that it finally got resolved. And it was a lot of phone calls, a lot of follow-ups. But what ended up happening was the couple was paying twice as much for their health insurance that they were supposed to, because the demographics had changed as far as their subsidy. And the gentleman, the husband, the father here, he was so thankful that he had me as a go-between between not only Penny, but also the insurance where they have it at. So he didn't feel as though he was trying to figure this out on him by himself. And when we finally got it resolved, and the insurance company had to refund him about, it was almost $2,000 worth of insurance that he had paid over 3 months. Yeah, I know. It was a big deal. And but that's just a case of there's so many people getting insurance, whether it's a Medicare product or an under 65 type product. And these people can get lost in the shuffle, and the follow-up is so key to ensuring that people are getting exactly what they're supposed to be getting. They're not overpaying. They're getting all the benefits they're supposed to be getting. And that's, quite honestly, like, that's why people stay with me, because I follow up.
Yeah, that's great. If you had a crystal ball and could see into the future, what do you think is going to be the biggest challenge in the senior financial market in the next 3 to 5 years?
The part of the problem and you're referring to it as what I do, right?
Yeah.
My challenges.
Yeah, like how you said right now.
One of my biggest challenges, and it will get worse as time goes on, is misinformation and bad information that people get either from other healthcare professionals, but a lot of times people get bad information from family members. And I tell them that, Uncle Bob told you this, but remember, Uncle Bob is healthy. He doesn't even use his insurance.
Yeah.
So we're telling you that, X, Y, and Z is going to happen. Well, he never experienced that. He's healthy over there. I said, everybody's a little bit different. And when it comes to from other healthcare professionals, and I'm referring to people that work at medical facilities, sometimes they'll tell my members, oh, well, you don't want that insurance, they're no good, or you don't want this, or you don't want that. And that is so wrong. They should not be saying things like that, because they're taking maybe one bad experience or something they overheard and they're running with it. Whereas someone like myself that does this every single day, I do see the good and the bad from insurance companies.
Yeah.
And people are just getting bad information from people that quite honestly shouldn't really be voicing their opinions.
Yeah.
And TV commercials are probably the biggest culprit, because I get calls on that, even from people that have had their insurance with me for a long time, and they'll say, boy, I keep seeing these commercials about this, and that, and I'm like, guys, that's not for you. Those commercials are blanketing everybody from all walks of life, where what they're actually trying to sell people on is such a small slice of the pie, but they get people to call in all the time, and then they get them changed to a different plan, and then they're like, I messed up. I get that call a lot. Christian, I messed up. I called, and they signed me up for this, and that, and sometimes we can get them out of that. Sometimes, they're stuck for the rest of the year. It just depends.
Yeah, I hear that a lot from the agents, that there's just so much information out there.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Christian, for meeting with me today and letting us have the opportunity to get to know you a little bit. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right.
It was good stuff.
Thanks.
All right. Have a great day.
Take care. Bye.